What's going on, everybody? This is Tyler and I am back with a brand new video, and today I'm going to be taking you guys through the process I took in drawing this new piece for my parents of their wedding photo. My parents hit me up and they asked me to stylize their wedding photo in, my art style and create it into something a little bit more horror. Basically, I did this drawing of Spencer Charnas, who's one of our favorite lead singers in one of these amazing metalcore bands. I think you call them metalcore. I don't know, I'm not very good with the music genres, don't come at me. Basically, his band does all of their songs based on horror movies, and we love them, I love them, obvious reasons there. I did a drawing of him that I made a print of that I gave to them for Christmas, and they liked it so much they really wanted me to do this piece of their wedding photo, so I decided I'd do it because it sounded like a fun time. When coming up with this idea, I wanted to take as much inspiration from different things as I could. I knew already some of the horror stuff that I've done in the past and how I've done that, and I knew that they wanted to look similar to that Spencer Charnas post. So I was thinking about what I could do, and obviously looking at a wedding photo, the first thing that came to my brain was The Corpse Bride. If you guys have never seen this movie, it's a great movie. I recommend going and watching it, but it has a really cool art style. It's a Tim Burton thing, and it is so cool, and I love the way the bride and the groom look in that, and I was like, let me take some inspiration from that and put it towards this piece. So obviously I'm trying to balance my parents' likeness and getting that in my style, as well as adding all this horror elements that I think would be really cool, and taking that inspiration from The Corpse Bride and trying to create something that looks like its original photo, but also looks extremely different. Weird thing to do. So this is the sketch I came up with, guys. Obviously with this sketch you don't really notice much outside of it just being my style of my parents here, but I did add the bone arm like The Corpse Bride. I thought that was such a cool thing, and I was like, let me do that because it'll add to them looking more dead, and I thought that that would be really fun. You'll notice that the flowers are very rough here. I wasn't sure totally what I wanted to do. I was contemplating a couple different things. I was thinking about maybe having her hold a head or some sort of dead thing. Originally, I thought even maybe having her be decapitated and her holding her own head. My mother holding her own head. It's a weird statement. But I ended up thinking, hey, why don't I just do the flowers? But instead of them being normal flowers, I'll try to make them look as desaturated and crumbly and just as dead as the flowers could possibly be. I have a great relationship with my parents, and I love my parents, and they are people who go to all these heavy metal shows with me and everything, so I really wanted to do this for them because they're so great to me, and I appreciate them more than anything. So I wanted to do another piece for them that they would love. So getting into the rendering, this is the best part, obviously. I wanted to give a new background to the piece. I didn't want to do the cathedral that my parents' wedding photo has. I wanted to do something completely different. So for it, I decided that a really cool outdoor nighttime scene, again matching that Corpse Bride, would be the best way. Now I know I just recently did a gigantic moon as a background. I really thought this would be a great chance to improve how I did it the first time and do it even better. And so that's what I decided to do. Now for this, I was struggling trying to paint these clouds over the moon. After I'd gotten the moon all rendered up, I just couldn't figure out how to do this, and nothing I was doing was coming out right, so I decided to use a photo bashing technique. I don't photo bash too often, but it's really something useful for doing when it comes to these environments or backgrounds, and I really thought it would work well here. Essentially, that just means I took a photo kind of similar in texture, or in this case, it was a cloud. I laid it over my piece, set it on a certain blending option, and then what I did was I went back with the eraser, went back with some opacities to make it look more natural and flow in a painting. Obviously, some people might not like this, think that it's cheating or whatever else, but in my opinion, when it comes to digital art, a lot of famous artists do this, concept artists, etc. Use your resources, it can help you in your art and create something great. So after I'd gotten the whole night sky theme, I had to obviously tackle the characters. When we're talking about doing two characters in one piece together, it is not an easy task. I've only really done this one other time with my Wicked fan art, and it was fun, but that was so challenging and it took me forever. But I knew some new skills and I wanted to apply them here to make this even easier than it was before. One things that I would say, if you're going to do a piece that involves two people at the same time, I would say to do both of them at the same time. Similar to how I would recommend that you draw eyes, you want to draw one and then the other and keep going back and forth. So what do I mean by that? Well, obviously I did the base colors and all of these at the same time, but when we're talking about applying things like shadows, lights, etc., I would say do them on both characters full body at the same time. That way, it's going to be the most efficient thing possible. So obviously when I was picking colors, I'm trying to pick the stuff that is the most, how do I put this? dead? So I went with the palest possible skin tone that I could, and adding different blushes and stuff is really difficult because I don't know exactly how much a zombie kind of thing would get in terms of blush or, you know, other colors within the skin or things like that, but I did the best that I could. My parents really wanted it to be complete whited out eyes as well. I like doing that, but I also really love drawing eyes, so it's kind of a mixed bag for me. But in terms of this piece, I decided, yeah, obviously they want their eyes whited out, so that's what I'm gonna do. And I think you can get this looking really, really creepy if you do it just right. With this, I decided to add a bunch of black around the eyes. Also, I was looking at the reference of Tim Burton, and it kind of just went hand in hand. And the more black you add around the eyes, I think the creepier it kind of comes off, which is awesome. Doing my dad in this piece was the easiest, obviously, because his entire wardrobe is black, his hair's really dark, so that was super easy. So I knew going through and getting him done was gonna be the easier one, just because I wasn't gonna need to do all this lighting and different colors and all that. But with my mom, she has very light hair, just like me. So I knew that it was going to be a process. Obviously, something that I am not a fan of doing is blonde hair. It is by far my least favorite thing to paint, just because there's so many different color variations. It's so light, but it also has different yellows and different tones in there. It's a nightmare. But it is something that is challenging, which I always love a challenge. With my mom's hair, I had to kind of add in as many different tones and colors as I possibly could, and I was really trying to capture what I thought her hair looked like, and I think I did a decent job at it. Obviously, when we're doing hair, we're going for the shapes, we're going for the block colors, and not going for individual strands, because that is the style that I like, and it's the most efficient and best way, in my opinion, to paint hair if you're not going for like a realistic approach. I also found this piece a little bit challenging, doing the wrinkles and stuff on my mom's dress. Doing a dress like that this is like a first for me, really, and it was tough, but for the most part, I'm happy with how it came out. I think maybe a little bit of lighter tones. I think I made it a little bit too dark at times, but for the most part, I'm happy with it, and I'm not gonna go and keep overthinking it, you know? So by far, the hardest part of this piece, for me at least, was doing the flowers and my dad's, what is it? Is this a corsage? No, that's the thing on the boutonniere. Those were the hardest part of the piece to do for me, because I am a type of person who likes to do things very neat, and I want them to be very clear. You know, I want lines to be crisp, and I'm very big on that. My style is very big on that, but in this case, I knew that wasn't really going to be possible. So as you can see, I'm basically just blocking out colors with a brush. I'm not really defining any of these shapes. It's just block shapes, and I'm adding as many colors as I can. This is a style that Sam Does Arts uses a lot, and I know I mentioned him a lot, but he is a huge inspiration for me. I'm sorry. But he does this a lot, and usually I look at it and I'm like, I don't think I could ever do that, because I feel like my brain would go crazy not putting in these little details or like outlining certain things and making it look, in my opinion, right. But in this case, I really buckled down and I was like, okay, we need to do shapes and not have them always match up and be this crisp. So I was trying to make them look dead as well, so it was definitely interesting because I couldn't look at the reference and take the exact color. I had to create my own colors and try to think of what would happen if these flowers that she's holding shriveled up and died. So I went with these very muted greens and yellows and pinks that I think worked really well in this case, and I'm really happy with the outcome. I've never really done anything like that before, and I think it turned out really cool and looks pretty nice. So for the most part, I'm happy with it. After I added that, you know, my favorite part had to come into play, and I had to add blood. I was actually debating whether or not I wanted to add blood to this piece or not. I thought it looked pretty creepy and pretty good without it, but I just can't help myself. I don't know, I feel like I'm wired weird, but I just felt like I need to add some. So I obviously added some on the mouth area, a little bit on the chest. Yeah, I love horror and I love gore, so you know I'm gonna add that. And that's pretty evident in most of my videos and my Instagram and a lot of the pieces I make. That's kind of my favorite thing to do, so I'm sorry. That is just what I like to draw. Anyway, this is the final piece. I loved making this, and like I said, guys, my parents are extremely important to me. I am so appreciative of them, and I'm so happy that I could do something for them that they would love. And I'm getting this printed and going to be giving it to them so that they have a nice printed copy that they can put on their wall if they'd like, which I know they do because that's what they asked me for. I think that this one was a little bit easier easier than my last piece that I did with 2 people because I'm a bit more experienced in it and I'm a bit more confident in it as well. Tell me what you guys think of this piece in the comments below. I would love to hear it. And if you guys have any ideas for future videos, also leave those in the comments below. I'm always open to ideas and I want to know what you guys want to see. But at the end of the day, I'm super happy with how this piece came out and I'm glad I got to take you guys through this journey with me and doing something really special for my parents, who are just incredible people. Honestly, the best. So anyway, I want to thank anyone and everyone who's tuned in this video. If you guys like this video, please click that like button and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos once a week, every week. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, peace. I need to figure out something else for the outro.